following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, guys, what's going on? It is Tuesday, June 2nd, and we want to welcome you to tonight's program. First thing I want to say is today marks my 26 years of being born again. As many of you guys have heard me talk about, it was June 2nd, 2000, 26 years ago today, that I said yes to Jesus Christ and gave my heart to the Lord. So I'm very thankful to the Lord that He has given me 26 years to serve Him and to be a blessing to the kingdom of God. And I pray that the Lord will give me an additional 26 more years if He should tarry, of course. We want to welcome you to the program. This is End Time Headlines, news and headlines from a prophetic perspective. Of course, I'm your host, Ricky Scaparo, the founder, the pastor, and the voice of End Time Headlines. We've got an interesting topic I want to talk about tonight. Before we get started on that, we want to welcome everybody. If this is your first time joining us, maybe you stumbled into the program, somebody invited you in, whatever the case may be, right there in the chat. If you're watching the premiere of this in the YouTube chat, let us know that you are new and where you're tuning in from. And of course, if you're watching the rebroadcast of this, let us know in the comments. You guys listening by Apple or by Spotify, let us know there as well. And if everybody could help us out, hit that like button. We would appreciate that. Hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That's going to assure that you help us. And then we have a great blessing we want to give you. It's a free app. Many of you probably already have it, but if you happen to be new or stumbled in the program and you don't yet have our free app, we want to encourage you to download it today. It's available on Apple and Android. You can get it also by right there on your screen. If you're watching this, just scan that QR code. And once you download it, hit yes to push notifications, and then you're going to be notified of every headline, every breaking news, every prophecy updates, our talking points, our interviews. Everything's going to be right at your fingertips. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, I'm going to take you back on a journey. We're going to go in 1975. Something very interesting took place. There was a strange cluster of juvenile arthritis cases that broke out in the scenic coastal town of Lyme, Connecticut. Children were suffering from swollen joints, debilitating fatigue, and mysterious bullseye rashes. Then, just a few years later, scientists officially identified the culprit behind this. They called this a tick-borne bacterium we know today as Lyme disease. Now, here's what's interesting. If we look across the water from the Connecticut coast, just a few miles off Long Island, you will spot a highly restricted path of land known as Plum Island. Anyone ever heard of Plum Island? For decades, Plum Island was the home to a secretive federal animal disease research facility. And for just as long, there has been a chilling theory that has circulated throughout the entire medical community. It's all over, it's online, it's everywhere you look, guys, you can find this. What if Lyme disease didn't occur naturally, but what if indeed it was a biological weapon that was engineered by the U.S. government that, quote, accidentally, or was it intentionally made to escape into the wild? I know it sounds like it makes a great sci-fi thriller. Even the geography of this alone is so enticing to produce, again, something that you would watch on a Netflix series or some kind of Stephen King novel. What's interesting about Plum Island is sits directly in the flight path of migratory birds, that frequently land in Lyme, Connecticut, potentially carrying infected ticks with them. In fact, the U.S. military absolutely did experiment with weaponized ticks during the Cold War. You guys, the research is out there. So we have all the ingredients for yet another massive cover-up. Now, if you try to go down this rabbit trail and research this, you're going to be told it's a conspiracy theory, it's a tinfoil hat theory, et cetera, et cetera. But today, I want to talk about these books. This theory has been made mainstream by books like Lab 257 and investigative pieces detailing historical bioweapons programs. Today we're going to talk about the operations of this that took place on Plum Island, the shadowy figures, if you would, that were involved in this. Let's start with this. In 1952, the U.S. Army Chemical Corps officially took over the island's military facilities for anti-animal biological warfare research. The mission wasn't to target humans, but to target livestock, specifically researching foot and mouth disease and African swine fever to cripple an adversary's food supply during the Cold War. Now, here's what's interesting. There is books out there. One of these is called Lab 257 and Investigative Lore. They discuss a man by the name of Eric Traub, who was a high-ranking virus scientist in Nazi Germany, who was brought to the U.S. via Operation Paperclip. Anybody ever heard of that? And allegedly consulted on the establishment of Plum Island. This individual specialized in weaponizing foot and mouth disease. He addressed declassified documents showing that the military did experiment with breeding hundreds of thousands of ticks in the mid-20th century to see if they could drop them from aircrafts as live biological vectors. Now, here's where it gets really intriguing, to me at least. According to researchers went into the archives of natural history museums to pull tick specimens preserved in alcohol from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Scientists successfully extracted and sequenced the Lyme bacterium DNA from ticks collected on Cape Cod in the 1890s and Long Island in the 1940s. Now, this was, again, decades before Plum Island began its lab experiments, okay, or even before it even existed, to be honest with you. So a landmark study that was led by Yale School of Public Health that mapped the full genome of the bacterium provided again, Lyme disease had been circulating silently in North America forest for at least, again, I'm not saying that this number is accurate. I'm just giving you the number of the research, and they say it's been circulating for 60,000 years. It's an ancient native, not a recent lab creation. Again, do what you want with that. However, I'm going to read on here. In 50, also, the Otzi the Iceman. Anybody ever heard of this? This was a 5,300-year-old European mummy. Apparently, genetic material recovered from his remains revealed the oldest known case of Lyme disease in human history. So the question here, now here's what the question is. Why, here's the ultimate question, if it didn't come from a laboratory, why all of a sudden did it explode in, of all places, Lyme, Connecticut in 1975? Now, here's some theories on this. In the 18th and 19th centuries, European settlers cleared out New England forests for agriculture and heavily hunted white-tailed deer, driving tick populations into a massive bottleneck. In the 20th century, farms were abandoned and forests grew back. Crucially, humans built suburbs right in the edges of these new woods. All of this formed what was called the perfect storm, where an explosion of the white-tailed deer and whitefoot mouse populations, and again, they call these the primary hosts for ticks and bacteria, were right in the backyards of suburban Connecticut, created a massive ecological amplification loop. Let me say that again. I kind of tongue-tied there. They say that this caused a massive ecological amplification loop. In other words, I'm giving you two theories, guys. It was either manufactured in a laboratory, Plum Island, in 1975, or if it predated 1975 and it was already in circulation, then I'm trying to give you the theory on what happened and why did it resurface. That theory is that we built homes directly inside its natural habitat for it to explode. Now, here's where it gets interesting, guys. Now, this is a recent article. Tick bite emergency room visits hit highest seasonal level in years as doctors warn of disease surge. Approximately 71 per 100,000 ER visits were tick-related in the month of April, which is more than double the historical average. Wow. All right, according to this report from Fox News, some of the highest rates of tick-based ER visits were among children younger than 10 years of age and adults between 70 and 79 years of age. Over the past 3 decades, the geographic range of the black-legged tick has expanded significantly, and with it, the risk of Lyme disease and other loxodes-transmitted infections. I believe that's how you pronounce that. A family medicine physician who practices urgent care and family medicine at University of Louisville Health in Louisville, Kentucky, told Fox News Digital. Now, where it gets really bizarre, guys, is there is what's called AGS, and that's an acronym for alpha-gal syndrome. This is often nicknamed the tick bite meat allergy. Now, does anybody in the comments or in the chat right there if you're watching the premiere of this in the chat, you're watching by YouTube on the replay of this in the comments, if you have this, have you contracted this? Do you have Lyme disease, or do you know somebody that has contracted this? Let us know in the comments, because I'd be interested in hearing this. Alpha-gal syndrome, it is one of the most unusual, and again, it is called one of the most unusual immune disorders because a person can eat beef, they can eat pork, they can or lamb for decades, and then all of a sudden, they suddenly develop an allergy after being bitten by certain ticks. This is what gives the high suspicions, guys, for this being a bioweapon. Now, technically, AGS is an allergy to a sugar molecule, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, and we're just going to call it alpha-gal for short, found in most mammals, cows, pigs, deers, lambs, but it's not naturally found in humans. After sensation, the immune system mistakenly treats this molecule as dangerous. Unlike a bacterial or viral tick-borne illnesses such as Lyme disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever, this is an immune-mediated allergic condition triggered by a tick bite. Even the CDC now recognizes this as a potentially life-threatening tick-associated syndrome. So let me give you a little rundown on how this can happen. Researchers believe the process happens. A tick feeds on mammals, such as a deer or livestock. It carries the alpha-gal in its saliva, and when the tick bites the human, it injects saliva containing alpha-gal and immune-modulating compounds into the bloodstream. As a result of this, the body becomes sensitized and produces these antibodies against alpha-gal. Later, when the person begins to eat meat or products containing alpha-gal, the immune system overreacts and produces an allergic response. This is why someone may suddenly say, quote, "I've eaten steak my whole life and now it makes me sick." In the United States, at least, can't speak for outside the United States, but in the United States, the main culprit, the main tick that's the culprit for carrying the alpha-gal is the Lone Star tick. This tick is commonly found throughout the Southeast, like Georgia, my neck of the woods, and has expanded geographically over time. The CDC notes that most suspected cases occur where Lone Star ticks are established. More recent research suggests that black-legged deer ticks and other tick species may also contribute in some regions, through the Lone Star remains the primary association in the U.S. Now, what makes this, again, I did a lot of research on this, and you say, well, okay, why are we talking about this, Brother Ricky? Because I'm telling you guys, we're talking about insect-borne warfare. We're talking about a whole new level of warfare here. Because we ain't even got to the mosquitoes yet. Wait till I tell you what they're releasing in Florida and California. And people like Bill Gates is behind this. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But here's what makes this allergy so strange. Huge red flag right there. What makes it so strange? Most food allergies happen within minutes of eating. Alpha-gal syndrome is unusual because reactions are often delayed 3 to 8 hours after eating meat. And this is what makes it so difficult to diagnose it. Someone may eat a burger at dinner and wake up at 2 a.m. with symptoms, never connecting the dots that this is what this is. So let me give you the quote unquote symptoms of alpha-gal syndrome. Hives or itching, flushing or swelling, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, heartburn, severe indigestion, dizziness, faintness, trouble breathing. And then the worst case is anaphylaxis. That's like anaphylactic shock. It's a hyper allergic reaction to this. It can be life-threatening. And this, that's the extreme level of this. So let's recap this with the ticks. Either this somehow originated all the way back in the 1800s, was thousands or even thousands of years ago, who knows? And it just happened to resurface through the perfect set of conditions. And now it's, I don't know, is it mutating and producing these weird things like alpha-gal? I don't know. Or the second theory is that this was a lab-created, weaponized bioweapon that was intended to use on adversaries, and it leaked out. Was it intentional? Was it a mistake? Is it just a coincidence that all these cases begin to explode and surface in the beginning in 1975 in a place called Lyme, Connecticut? I don't know. You do what you want with that. But all I'm doing is I'm just reporting this, and now we're seeing, have you noticed that almost year after year, we're seeing more and more cases of these tick-borne diseases, and they're spreading, it's exploding. And the alpha-gal, guys, listen, I'm 49 years of age. I never heard of this stuff until recently, until over the past few years. And now think about this. You've got individuals like Bill Gates and other elites that have, even people in the World Economic Forum, that has been talking about how we need to get away from eating meat. We need to rely on plants, and we need to our alternatives, grown meats, synthetic meats, even insects. It's telling us to eat insects, but they keep pulling us away. They keep wanting to deter us from eating and consuming meats. Now, where did I hear that somewhere from? Oh, that's right. 1 Timothy chapter 4. For the Holy Spirit expressively says in the latter days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, having their conscience seared with the hot iron, and forbidding to eat meat. Now, I know the context of this. Don't write me a letter and an email and a message and saying, well, that's not the context of what Paul was talking about. He was talking about meats that's been dedicated to idols, and we're not to eat that. Look, I know that, guys, but I just think it's interesting. I'm throwing that out there for just a point of interest. That's all. But I want to say this. It gets even more weird. Look at this. I want to show you this article. Now, this almost sounds like we made this up, but I can assure you we did not make this up. You can research it for yourself. Google wants to release 32 million infected mosquitoes into the wild. What? I'm going to read this. This is from Metro This is a UK affiliate. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's 32 million mosquitoes. That's the vision behind a new public health project from Google in California and Florida. Google is seeking federal approval to breed. Look at this, guys. You can't make this up. And release swarms of mosquitoes carrying an infection harmless to humans. Don't worry, guys. It's harmless. You just got to put your faith and trust and confidence in Google. I mean, after all, it's Google. What are you losing sleep over? Mosquitoes are among the deadliest animals in the world, making millions sick every year with disease, including the West Nile virus, and a whole other slew of other mosquito-borne illnesses like Zika and yellow fever and dengue and all kinds of other stuff. Let's see. To tackle this, researchers aim to render the insects sterile. How are they going to do this? Because only female mosquitoes spread viruses when they bite in an animal infected with the virus and then bite a person. Males only nibble on plant nectar rather than tinker with their DNA or spray streets with insecticides. The Google team want to, quote, infect them with the parasitic bacteria Wolbachia. Sounds like the character off Star Wars. This thing lives quietly in almost all kinds of insects, from bees to butterflies, and doesn't harm humans. Mosquitoes, it burrows into the insect's reproductive machinery and shields them from infections like the West Nile virus. Now, this is what we're being told, but we're living in an era, guys, that nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts Google. Nobody trusts Bill Gates. Nobody trusts the governments. We don't trust CDC. We don't trust the WHO. We don't trust the WEF. Who knows if this is really what they're injecting them with? Now, I've got a video here. I'm going to put this video on. We're going to watch this together. We're going to do a reaction to this. In fact, guys, we got two videos. Here's a little bit more on the report itself, and then we'll get into some commentary.
Interesting story for you here. So mosquitoes, as you know, the deadliest animal in the world, probably the most annoying too, but Google wants to release millions of them in California and Florida. Nick Smith is here with more on this. Okay, you got to explain this one to me. It sounds odd, and as I mentioned before, I didn't know there was such a good thing as good mosquitoes.
Exactly.
But they're saying this could actually help reduce deadly mosquito-borne diseases.
Yeah, you're asking these questions because you're like, what does Google have to do with mosquitoes, right?
What's going on here?
Their life sciences department actually breeds mosquitoes, and Marky, they believe that by releasing more, they can reduce the harmful ones. Google.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. Did he just say they breed mosquitoes? I'm pretty sure he just did. Hold on.
Mosquito-borne diseases.
Yeah, you're asking these questions because you're like, what does Google have to do with mosquitoes, right?
What's going on here?
Their life sciences department actually breeds mosquitoes, and Marky, they believe that by releasing more, they can reduce the harmful ones. Google is asking federal regulators for permission to release millions of mosquitoes to create fewer of them. As summer approaches, health officials say mosquito season is off to an early start across the country. Spring rainfall, standing water, and warmer temperatures are creating ideal breeding conditions. In fact, mosquito surveillance districts in California have already detected West Nile positive mosquitoes this season, a sign of what could be a busy mosquito season ahead.
All right, stop. So we've got them. Now think about this. We have potential weaponized insects on the ground, ticks, and now we have them in the air, mosquitoes. You can't make it up, guys.
At the same time, Google's parent company, Alphabet, is seeking EPA approval for a project known as Debug. It's a plan to release up to 32 million male mosquitoes in California and in Florida over the next 2 years. The science is surprisingly simple. Only female mosquitoes bite people and spread disease. The males being released do not
we already
bite
heard this.
over
We'll skip
time.
through this.
The CDC calls mosquitoes the deadliest animal in the world because of the diseases they can spread, including West Nile, dengue, Zika, chikungunya, and yellow fever. West Nile is the leading mosquito-borne disease in the continental U.S. Sickening.
First of all, you ever ask yourself, how did all these diseases get over here in the first place? I mean, how long have we lived here? And we never heard of these diseases. I never heard of this stuff growing up. We went out and played in the woods all day long, guys. From the time the sun went up to until the street lights came on. We came back in. We ate dinner. Sometimes we'd go out and we'd play at night. We'd catch lightning bugs in the jars. We'd get by mosquitoes. Never heard of this stuff or the ticks. But now all of a sudden it's a thing.
About 2,000 people each year, including more than 120 deaths.
In 1 out of about 150 people who get West Nile virus, it can cause neurologic disease, meningitis, and can also include encephalitis, actual more involvement of the brain. And it can even result in paralysis.
Health officials say right now the best defense is still prevention. Use insect repellent and eliminate standing water around your home where mosquitoes can breed. Now, for now, Alphabet's debug project would be limited to California and Florida. The EPA is accepting public comments through June 5th. And if approved, again, Google says the goal is simple: fewer mosquitoes and fewer people, Marky, actually getting sick. So the
accepting comments, public comments. Oh boy, wouldn't you like to see those public comments? Well, now we're going to go to another video. Now this is valuetainment. This is going to be it's going to be an interesting take on this.
Apparently Google is planning on releasing mosquitoes.
Great.
Okay. What do you mean mosquitoes? They want to release millions of mosquitoes into California to help stop diseases. What's the disease? What do you want to do? No, they want to release mosquitoes. Guys, this is not Rob, this is not a spoof of a story. This is a real story that we're talking about.
Correct, and they want to do it here in the state of Florida as well.
Yeah, well, that's where it's going to be a problem when you're doing something like that. But Google, planning to release mosquitoes, a tech giant, is seeking federal approval to release. You ready for this, folks? 32 million specially treated mosquitoes in California and Florida over the next.
And who hand counts them all? Like, well, some guy in there going, well, we got 29,990. We got 29,991. We've got, this is crazy.
2 years as part of an effort to reduce the spread of mosquito-borne disease, including West Nile virus, St. Louis encephalitis, and then a bunch of other viruses that I'm not going to read. The proposal is currently under review by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, which is accepting public comments through June 5th before deciding whether to issue an experimental permit. Rob, can we see what these mosquitoes look like that they're talking about? On Friday, a positive sample of West Nile virus was confirmed in Riverside County. The project is part of Google's little-known debug initiative launched more than a decade ago to develop new technologies aimed at reducing populations of disease-carrying mosquitoes rather than releasing biting insects. The company plans to release male mosquitoes infected with Wolbachia, a naturally occurring bacteria. Is that what the mosquitoes look like?
It has eyebrows.
Rob, is that it?
Yes, this is what they're saying. This is from the CDC.
How long does it take to make each of these mosquitoes? Do we know?
How do you
How long
make
does it
them?
take to make these mosquitoes? What is the cost of each mosquito?
What?
So one of them is a self-limiting gene that prevents female mosquitoes' offspring from surviving to adulthood. Another one is a fluorescent marker gene that glows under a special red light that allows researchers to identify GM mosquitoes in the wild. GM mosquitoes produce in a lab lay eggs.
And that's genetically modified, by the way. That's what GM stands for. Okay, we're not talking about General Motors here.
Which carry the self-limiting and fluorescent marker. Used for mosquito control. When the egg hatch, they develop into adult mosquitoes. These mosquitoes mate with wild females. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. The genes are passed on to offspring. They expect to...
I mean, think about this. Is the female going to want to mate with this freak? I'm not trying to be weird, guys, but wouldn't the insect recognize that this male insect doesn't look normal? My, what big eyebrows you have. I mean, guys, you can't make this
result
stupid
of using
stuff up.
GM mosquitoes is that number of AE mosquitoes in that area decreases. It's pretty wild. Did you know that only female mosquitoes bite? They need a blood meal to produce eggs. Male mosquitoes do not bite.
Typical.
They feed on nectar from flowers. Tom, your thoughts on this? Does this concern you at all?
Yes, because you know what? I find this to be ridiculous. You know, I find this to be I don't trust it because...
What? No. Who would have thought?
California and Florida do have something in common, and that is massive agriculture crops. You know, there are grapefruit and oranges, and it's called Orange County around Orlando for a reason, and it was called Orange County in Southern California for a reason. So check this out, Pat. Fruit flies can be a problem. They can infest orange groves, grapefruits, lemons. You saw all the lemons. We used to drive in up through Ventura County toward Santa Barbara, and you could see lemon groves, all this stuff. Well, check this out. Fruit flies became a problem, and scientists came up and says, hey, you know what we could do? We could breed a bunch of sterile males. We can breed a bunch of fruit flies. We'll sterilize the male with chemical or radiation or something. We'll have some various techniques, and then we'll release them out into the wild. And then they'll mate with the females, and the females won't get pregnant. And there'll be no more fruit flies, and will cause it. They spent millions and millions, I think even billions of dollars on it. And guess what happened? The neutered male fruit flies were less strong, and they didn't fly as well. And sometimes they would mate with the female, and then she would turn around and then mate with a wild male fruit fly and get pregnant anyway. That's what was happening. I don't trust these programs. And by the way, there's a hysterical University of Nebraska study that goes back like 2010, 2012. But it basically said, guys, sterilizing the fruit flies and sending them out may not even work. And as a matter of fact, you may have the same size problem that you did because the sterile males, flew weakly. And by the way, guess what? The females in the wild tended to prefer the males that were in the wild, not the sterilized, weak-flying sterile fruit flies. And I thought this was hysterical.
Yeah, by the way, they tested
It's just like, here we go again.
They did this in 2017. Google did this, actually.
Yes, Bill Gates
Google's
was behind this.
life sciences unit is releasing 20 million bacteria in Fresno. Infected mosquitoes in Fresno. Verily, the life science arm of Google parent company Alphabet has hatched a plan to release 20 million lab-made bacteria infected mosquitoes in Fresno, and that's a good thing. You see the Zika carrying Aedes aegypti mosquitoes prevalent in the area. Earlier this year, a woman contracted with the first case of Zika in Fresno through sexual contact with a partner who has been traveling. Now there's a fear of inevitable mosquito meats patient if we don't do something about it. Verily plans called the Debug Project hopes to now wipe out. I mean, there's certain industries you go in that, first of all, even, by the way, let's just say a noble person was running that company.
Okay. Alphabet?
No. Let's say a noble person is trying to release these mosquitoes. Take somebody you trust, and they're running a company.
Okay.
Is there any winning in this business? People ask you, what do you do for a living? We release mosquitoes.
Wait.
And how many of them? Yeah, in 2017, we released 20 million in Fresno. And we're thinking about doing 32 million, but we're good people. We're church going.
Okay.
How hard of a job it is to do.
Yeah. Dude, you ruined my summer. My backyard was terrible.
Yeah. By the way, give you some context. You know how much 32 million mosquitoes are? Not a lot. Rob, how many total mosquitoes are there in America? I'm sure somebody counted them one by one.
2 billion.
Yeah. No.
And separate them by citizens and illegals.
It has
Tens of trillions?
That's the number. Tens of trillions of mosquitoes. 32 million mosquitoes is like the poor 22,000 cops in France trying to prevent all the immigrants in France of destroying the city with 780 arrests. 32 million mosquitoes is nothing.
Tens of
trillions of mosquitoes just in North America alone. By the way, added to tens of trillion, 9 of them are in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you know that or not. During summer, they show up when it rains. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Exactly.
Because they want to release this in California and Florida.
Yeah.
It's like 62%.
I just want to know one question. Do local communities get to vote on this, or do they just get to release mosquitoes when they feel like it? It kind of reminds me of one of those things that's like, you only stop a bad guy with a gun with a good guy with a gun. It's like you only stop a encephalitis mosquito with a non-male binary mosquito that basically takes down the queen mosquito. Everyone should be skeptical, but at the same time, we should understand, I assume they know what they're doing.
You're going to assume?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know about you, but the past few years,
By the way,
people don't blindly...
Adam asked a good question, though. Did the people of the city have to vote for it?
I think they are.
I asked, did people in Fresno have to vote for it? It says no. The residents of Fresno did not vote for the mosquito project. The program was handled through a combination of regulatory approvals, local mosquito control district, public comment period, and environmental and health reviews. It was not placed on a statewide ballot for Fresno voters. Verily worked with local mosquito control authorities and state federal regulators to conduct a release. Public meetings and common opportunities were held, but there was no referendum requiring majority voter approval. That's interesting.
Yeah, you would want the people that are living there at least to have a say, like at
you
school board meetings and be like, hey, I'm not cool with what you guys are doing.
Yeah, like we had a say in the data centers that are coming up, that the government's taking eminent domain over. We're going to talk about that probably. We may talk about this week. That's a big thing right now. Is these data centers are coming in? They're popping up everywhere, guys. They're building the infrastructure for the bee system, and we don't have a say-so in it. Well, we can voice our opinion, Brother Ricky. Well, good luck with that, because again, they're issuing eminent domain. They're overriding the will of the people, and here's another example of this.
You guys are putting these books in the library. They get to go and voice their opinion and push back.
So the critics were saying exactly what you said. Critics said the residents should have a direct vote. Releasing millions of mosquitoes affected by a broader community, we should have something to say. Large-scale biological interventions should require stronger public consent. Man, I don't know. This is the direction we're going.
But like, have we not learned in the past couple of years just blindly trusting these giant corporations and billionaires? They're playing scientists. We just talked about Bill Gates recently. This is Google and this Alphabet, right? This is a parent company.
Vinny, let me tell you what's coming.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you what's coming.
What?
Can we play imagination game real quick? You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so check this out. What is the likelihood that if it already exists, it could already exist, what is the likelihood in the next 5-10 years there's going to be mosquito drones this small?
There already are.
They'll fly into the negotiation room and just sit there. You know, let's say, I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. Military mosquito-sized drones to go and track anything and everything that's being said and leak the information.
I wouldn't put if they're not already in the late stages or they don't have one, they'd be very, very dumb. Like I'm pretty sure that they're almost there. Do you remember in
but you could never tell anybody about it. Is that it, Rob?
Look at that guy.
Look at that guy. What does this drone do? Tiny, quiet enough to be called mosquito drone. Black Hornet. What does it do, Rob?
Black Hornet.
Oh, okay. Can you play it? Actually, play. Let's listen to the audio. Yeah, for sure. This is coming. Maybe the music we can't play. Yeah. So it has the camera in there. Look at the camera, the way it comes out. Boom. It's like the mosquitoes dangling, but it's the camera that comes out and then it records.
Crazy.
I wouldn't put it past. It's
flight computer. You can make it so flippin' small that is not even detectable. Data extractor, Vinny. It goes in the computer and extracts. Like, you ever seen the Transformers 1?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is in a purse and it's trying to find Wick-Wicky's glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wick-Wicky.
Yeah, Wick-Wicky's glasses.
Do you remember in The Fifth Element? They had the guy had a remote control. The cockroach had like things on its head.
Well, Pat,
the freaking sharks have laser beams.
What's the term they use when you have something in a room, recording devices? It's called bugged.
Aha.
Aha. There you go, right there. By the way, you remember when you caught my Mossad mosquito?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm replacing that as we speak.
It was quite a few.
I'm replacing that as we speak.
But by the way, do you not think for a second intel agencies are right now working on mosquito-sized cameras?
It's already done, Pat.
I think it's already
sure
It's already done.
For sure. I mean,
instead of biting you, the mosquitoes just
forget about it, because pagers are big, mosquitoes are not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. So we're going to move on. They're talking about a whole different subject here, but again, I'm highly suspect of this, guys. Very suspect on this. All right, now I'm going to give you a bonus. We talked about the ticks, the rise of tick-borne diseases. We talked about the birth or the origin of Lyme disease. Again, two different angles to that. Now these mosquitoes, genetically modified mosquitoes, being released into the wild. If you want to trust the Alphabet company, Google, whatever, then so be it, but I sure don't. Speaking of not trusting agencies, look at this. We're going to talk about a bonus. This is bonus material at the end of this. Now, before I want to read this article, then I'm going to go back to, I'm going to refresh your memory on something, and then we're going to go back to this. Look at this headline. A personalized vaccine for melanoma cut the risk of cancer returning after 5 years. I want to highlight this right here. Personalized, there it is. Personalized jab, if you would. Now, why are we highlighting that? Because if you will remember, guys, we talked about this when the announcement was first made about Stargate. Remember Stargate? Let's pull it up right here. A $500 billion Stargate AI project. Remember Sam Altman, Larry Ellison, Peter Thiel, the guy from Oracle, SoftBank, all of these guys involved in this with Trump.
One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
This is a $500 billion Stargate AI project proposes, look at this, using artificial intelligence to facilitate early cancer detection and generate personalized mRNA vaccines within 48 hours. Baked by an unprecedented consortium of tech giants, the initiative is designed to revolutionize oncology by automating customized medical treatments. Let's read this, how the process works. The vision of Stargate's medical breakthroughs rely on a rapid AI-driven process, and buddy, it's here, and it's advancing, and it is rapidly advancing. Early detection AI systems are designed to analyze standard cost-effective blood tests to detect tumor fragments circulating in the bloodstream long before symptoms arise. Then there's what's called gene sequencing. Once a threatening cancer is identified, the specific tumor's DNA is rapidly gene sequenced. Then there's what's called robotic production. This sequencing data is processed through AI models, such as those trained by OpenAI to design an mRNA vaccine perfectly tailored. Look at that. Perfectly tailored to the patient's specific genetic profile. These vaccines can then be robotically produced within about 48 hours. To achieve these medical breakthroughs, the project relies on massive computational power. The initiative is a partnership between OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and NVIDIA. Infrastructure construction is heavily centered. It's going to take data centers. There you go. In Abilene, Texas, utilizing high-end computing chips to process immense data sets for medical research and artificial general intelligence. AGI, that's the next step. That's where it's going. Likely it could already be here. If not, it'll be here by next year. While the promise for personalized vaccines is highly anticipated in the medical technology sector, healthcare experts note that these personalized mRNA technologies are still navigating evolving public health landscapes and early clinical studies. The project itself is actively rolling out its massive server footprint across the United States. There it is. And then here we go. Then I just seen this article today, and this is the first thing I thought of when I saw this article is what I just read to you. All right, let's read this together. All right, an experimental vaccine from Moderna, of course it is, and Merck shows, quote, promise in keeping deadly skin cancer from returning for years. People will line up to get this thing. My own mother died of stage 4 melanoma skin cancer. People will be lined up to get this. The research presented Monday at the American Society of Clinical Oncology annual meeting found that a personalized mRNA vaccine half the risk of melanoma returning after 5 years. The results were also published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Melanoma is the deadliest form of skin cancer, and in about half of patients, the disease will come back within the first 5 years of treatment. The treatments we have are not perfect. People relapse, said one doctor who was the director of the melanoma and cutaneous medical oncology program at NYU Langone Health in New York and the senior trial investigator. In the trial, 50 patients received the standard treatment, surgery followed by a type of immunotherapy called, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, also known as Keytruda. Another 107 patients also got a personalized vaccine tailored to their specific tumor. So 107 patients did this. All of the people in the trial had at least stage 3 melanoma, meaning the cancer had spread to nearby lymph nodes or skin and had a high risk of returning even after surgery. 5 years later, so this has been in the making for 5 years, 5 years later, nearly 70% of individuals in the vaccine group were cancer-free compared to 49% who took the standard treatment in the standard treatment group. Adding the vaccine also cut a person's risk of the cancer metastasizing by nearly 60%. So, guys, the point is here being made is you've heard me talk about this over and over again. The carrot on a stick philosophy. It's the enticement. It's the bait on the hook to get people in. People, I'm telling you, and I get it. If you had some type of disease, if you had something and your life was at risk, there's going to be so many people that say, you know what, I'll line up for it and take this. But you can see how this is going to lure people in. And again, guys, we live in a society where nobody trusts these organizations. They don't trust these organizations. And then you already know where this is eventually going, guys. Revelation 13. If you want to function in society, you want to be able to eat, you want to be able to be preserved, you want to be able to live, you want to be able to function like everybody else and have a place in society, all you got to do is take the mark in your right hand or in your forehead. And again, when we get to that point, mid-trib, and right there in the book of Revelation 13, when we get to that point, these individuals, they won't have an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to pass this time. They're either going to take the mark or they will die. Their lives will be taken from them. So what I'm trying to show you guys is the beast system. This right here is another step towards the advancement of this. And we're also showing you how these, in my opinion, these weaponized insects are being released into the public. Who knows the ramifications of these things? All I'm saying, guys, is in my 49 years of living, I remember growing up, we didn't have any of this stuff. None of this stuff was, we didn't hear about any of this stuff. Maybe it was, but it was a blip here and there, but it was nothing like we're hearing now. So that to me is highly suspicious. Things are happening and things are happening quick, and we need to be aware of the times and the seasons in which we're in. I want to leave you with a word of encouragement. Jesus said in Luke chapter 21, verse 28, when you begin to see all these things coming to pass, look up and lift up your heads. Why? Because your redemption is drawing near. Again, guys, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. That's going to be our main website. Please bookmark our website. Again, if you didn't pick up the app, pick it up today. Apple, Android, scan that QR code so you can get the free app, and then you can keep up with all of our programs and all of our ministry happenings, everything that we're doing here at End Time Headlines. So, and as always, guys, if this ministry bless you, encourage you, equips you, informs you, and all of the above, and you'd like to know more about partnering with us, here is a quick video on that, and we'll be right back.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right, guys, so that's going to put another one in the books. We appreciate you coming on and being part of the program on this Tuesday night. Listen, we'll be off tomorrow as usual. We're back to our normal schedule, by the way. So tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 3rd, we'll be off. We'll take our midweek break, and then we'll be back here on Thursday night on the 4th, and we'll be back Friday on the 5th, and we'll have another great program for you on Thursday and Friday night. So until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, keep you, and may his countenance shine upon you. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.